Hi friends, it's January 18th, it's 11 a.m. here for the 4th climate change rally of one. Hopefully my wife will show up soon. It'll be 2 people. That's all that seems to show up or maybe care about what's happening with the climate. It's very disconcerting. Anyways, I'm here in Gettysburg, PA. As you can tell, nothing is going to change presently because the gas prices are $2.30 a gallon here, or $2.43, somewhere in there. Anyways, presently this high CO2 forever was reached on last Tuesday, I think it was. It was 413 parts per million CO2 level, which is a point higher than the previous high. Most likely the high won't be reached until April or May. So we're in real jeopardy as far as the planet goes, and our politicians are totally either ignoring it or unaware of the dire situation we're in. With the Arctic melting, and this summer could be the first blue water event where most of the Arctic Ocean is clear, which is extremely dangerous for the whole planet. It's probably the Arctic is the main linchpin as to whether we survive as a species or not. And people don't even know what's happening. The media doesn't cover anything but the Donald and Nancy Pelosi show. So it's ridiculous what's going on. Americans are totally unaware of what's happening in the world. Presently, there's a girl over in Sweden, Greta Thunberg, who's doing Friday protests as well. It has caught on. Students in Belgium, Germany, and somewhere else, can't remember, or Germany, Sweden, somewhere else. Anyways, it's really caught on. There are thousands of kids in the street protesting because they know they have no future if things persist the way they are. Basically, they know it's down to 10 years to mitigate, in their mind, the change. In my mind, it's 3 years to straighten everything up. Once the Arctic goes, the permafrost will start venting off massive amounts of methane and CO2. The jet stream, as you can tell, is just totally trashed. You'll get these vortices that'll spill down into Syria, and they'll get snow. And here it might be 90 degrees tomorrow. I don't know, whatever. But everyone thinks that, it's snow and everything's okay. It's not. So the permafrost will eventually vent off mass amount of methane, which is a life-ending gas, basically, if it goes off in the gigatons. Greenland will become the center of the cold in the future, which shifts everything 17 degrees to the east. At that point, your crops are totally screwed up. Your environmental system makes no sense anymore. It'll be impossible for farmers to grow crops consistently. You'll get wind, you'll get rain, deluges, because the more water the more heat that's in the air, the more water vapor that enters the atmosphere as well. So that's another greenhouse gas, is water vapor. The thermohaline circulation, which is the Gulf Stream, as everyone knows, is falling apart. So what that does is it keeps massive amounts of heat down in the Caribbean. So Florida, for example, and Louisiana will encounter these massive hurricanes that are off the scale. And that's coming up in the next 3 years probably, and then it'll continue from then on out. Also, with the breakdown of the Arctic, you get your continental centers that heat up exponentially, such as Russia, and that has mass amounts of permafrost as well with methane. So as you can tell, it's just feedback loop and feedback loop and feedback loop. Presently, Ford has discontinued the making of sedans. They're just going to make SUVs and trucks, which is highly criminal. It's not acknowledging the problem. If we had political leaders in power, they would not allow this to happen. It's criminal what's happening. The media does not cover anything about climate change, and what will happen is that when things start spiraling way out of control, it's mostly too late at that point. All we can do is mitigate the amount of damage, and we're talking people dying in the billions at that point. Not to freak you all out, but you need to be freaked out based on the science. This is not something I'm making up or anything. If you doubt what I'm saying, you can go to see on YouTube. These are scientists who research papers and then break them down for us so we can understand what's going on. So you got Paul Beckwith, you got Peter Wadhams, you got Kevin Anderson, you got Guy McPherson. Okay, if you do those 4 people and take your time doing all their articles for the last 2 or 3 years or 4 years, you will thoroughly understand what's happening in the world. So I'm not making any of this up. You can think I am, or I'm hysterical. The whole world needs to be hysterical at this point. The United Nations says we had 10 years to get things straightened out, which is amazing because 2 years ago they said we had the year till 2100. Now they're down to 2030. So if you're getting the idea here, things are running out of control, and even the UN's starting to acknowledge it severely. Little things you can do is get off of beef. We love to eat beef, hamburgers and everything, but maybe switch down to chicken, fish. However, CBS reported that the oceans will go extinct in 2048. So doesn't matter which way we go, we're affecting everything. The hotter the oceans get, the less oxygen, the more fish that die. The more less oxygen there is in the water, the chance for diatoms and little green algae grow, and it's an oxygen killer in the ocean. So this idea of 2100 is totally full of crap. I look at it as 3 years max, because we need to get the Arctic straightened up, and the only way to do that is get things cold again and pull CO2 out of the air. But as you can tell, there's no hope of pulling CO2 out of the air, because we have political leaders that are totally wimpy or evil as far as taking money from the fossil fuel industries. In my mind, political leaders that are advocating this kind of action should be thrown in jail for crimes against humanity. I don't know where the world court is. Eventually, the world is going to rebel against the United States as far as our policies. Anyone that is hell-bent on killing the rest of the planet is totally sinister. The world has no borders. We create them as human beings. We're all one world, and the only way we can survive is to work together as a whole planet. I know it violates the democratic rule of the United States and everything, but the fact is we're way past a point of what would they call that, where you go inside the black hole area. You don't know when you're in it, the area, and we've already crossed into that barrier, I think. So hopefully people start protesting. I seriously doubt it. Americans are all about their cell phones and their games and their TV and entertainment, and they think the news, the media is the media as far as giving them the real news, what's happening, and what they're doing is giving you a death sentence. So I know it's not positive. Right now I'm not positive about what's happening. I mean, this is our fourth protest and no one comes out. So I understand people have to work, but you can't work when you're dead. So, and within 3 years, we got to straighten ourselves up. Otherwise, we're definitely on the path to extinction. So hope to see you out here, or do your own protest. I'm out here every Friday at 11 a.m. So see you soon, hopefully. Don't count on, the weather being perfect all the time, because it's not going to be. You're going to get wild fluctuations. So see you soon, and if not, I'll see you next week, 11 a.m. I'll be at the same place, same bat channel. Bye.